What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. Lots of information coming today. Obviously, we've uploaded a bunch of videos, but today we get to talk about something a little bit different, something aside from Luffy, Kaido, and the whole Wano country stuff. Today we're talking about the new Super Evolution, which obviously was teased with the Super Pirate Rumble, so Whitebeard and Marco are going to be super evolving. I did make a video as well discussing my thoughts and opinions about what they could do to potentially improve this character, and one thing I did say in that video quite clearly was that this character is already really not that good, so just about anything they do to this character is going to be a net positive. And while that is true, I feel like the route that they took to super evolve this unit was just the lazy route. They didn't really do a whole lot to this character, and it's really saddening because this character on release was one of the best legends in the game, so I was expecting big things here. But I do feel a little bit let down in terms of what they've given us, and we'll discuss it all in today's video. So let's go ahead and have a look. The Super Evolution of Whitebeard and Marco. I guess we can briefly talk about what this character actually did normally. So you got Whitebeard, Striker Powerhouse. He's a Psi focus unit, giving them an attack boost, damage reduction, as well as making Psi slots beneficial. The other side of that was Marco for Int instead, but instead of also giving damage reduction, he would switch that out for a recovery boost. And then in their combined form, obviously they boost both Psi and Int with a recovery boost and damage reduction and matching slots. Pretty typical stuff back in 2018, 2019, whenever this character came out, you know. The special ability would heal 20,000 HP, 30% health cut, randomizes all slots into either Psi, Int, or Recovery, and then they combine into the dual unit for 3 turns, which partnered well with their switch effect that would make recovery slots beneficial, give them a recovery slot, and then remove 1 turn of special bind and paralysis. So back in the day where content, you actually could take your time on content, there weren't really speed farming captains, and you actually needed to take your time with utility and defensively focused units, and Whitebeard and Marco is one of the best defensive units in the game. The switch ability generating recovery slots which you could consume to heal back at the end of every single turn, just a really solid unit. Now we have to talk about their Super Evolution. So Whitebeard and Marco with their Super Evolution require 3 skulls like all the other dual units that have evolved this year. So Whitebeard and Marco, in my opinion, I feel like the artwork is also a little bit of a disappointment. I was expecting something a bit more dynamic. But we have this unit right here. Now this character does have level limit break, which means that the form that you see in this video is going to be the max potential with max level limit break. However, the character that you may receive, if you don't have the max level limit break, may have slightly different abilities, okay? So I just want to make sure that that is clear. So let's jump into it. Let's start off with Whitebeard, still Psi Striker Powerhouse, 4.75 times attack, so obviously the numbers are going up. All other characters get a 4.25, 1.2 HP, which I believe is new. They didn't have an HP boost before. 20% damage reduction, Psi slots are matching, and then tapping on this character with a recovery slot will apply a minus 10% Psi resistance for 2 turns, which is kind of fascinating. And of course, when you use the switch ability, they get a guaranteed recovery slot every single turn. So the fact that you could activate this ability and tap on this character to apply resistance down for 2 turns is really interesting, because you could do it, and then if you don't kill the enemy during that turn, or if the enemy revives, for example, the resistance down is still going to stay. So I think that's actually really cool. The fact that you can have this debuff be applied for multiple turns seems pretty interesting. You move on to Marco, relatively similar, the same sort of thing, except instead of damage reduction, you have a recovery boost, and you get 10% Int resistance down for 2 turns. And then, you know, surprise, you go into their combined form and it's relatively the same. Psi Int 5.25, so just higher numbers, health boost, recovery boost, 30% damage reduction this time, Psi Int matching, and then when you tap on them with a Psi Int or a recovery slot, so you can have any one of those 3, it's a minus 15% resistance instead. Like, captain ability wise, there wasn't a lot that they could really do, honestly. Like, there isn't a lot that they could do, so I don't really have any qualms with that. Where we have some issues is the switch ability. So the switch ability is the exact same, which I don't think is that big of a deal, but you have a look at the super switch. Now it requires 6 swaps to get it, and you remove 3 turns of paralysis and special bind, and then there's still the same thing. You get a guaranteed matching slot and you make them beneficial for 1 turn. And now this is honestly one of the big issues that a lot of people had with Whitebeard and Marco, even when he first came out, despite him already being very good on release. One of the big issues people had was the fact that when you use the special ability of him, it would randomize your slots to sight into recovery, and he doesn't even make recovery matching in his captain ability, which means there are times that if you don't activate that switch ability before using their special, you're not going to be able to make recovery slots beneficial unless if you have that ability already on your team in some capacity. So that's really annoying, and unfortunately, they didn't really fix this issue. So you have a look at their special, 30% health cut, which was not changed, and it doesn't go through defensive effects or anything. You remove paralysis and special bind by 4 turns, okay? Which, of course, with their switch ability, you're able to remove all turns of, or not all turns, but up to 5 turns of paralysis and special bind with just their normal switch. If you use their super switch and then their special, you can remove 7 turns. So utility-wise, I'm not really that mad about that. I mean, it seems pretty good to me. It's the fact that 6 swaps for what they do, I feel like is a bit much. It should have been 3 or 4 swaps, in my opinion. 4 I would have been comfortable with, but 6 is a bit ridiculous. Furthermore, heals 30,000 HP. I believe was the heal 30,000 or was it 20,000? I think it was 20,000, so that's been upped slightly. Reduces damage taken by 90% for 1 turn, so that's a new addition. So they have damage reduction inbuilt with their special. And then it boosts sign into character's base attack by 1500 for 2 turns. Changes cruise slots, including block, randomly to sight into recovery. So I don't believe they got rid of block slots before, so that's the positive buff there. But still randomly shuffling to sight into recovery. He doesn't make recovery beneficial with the special, so you have to use the switch effect before using the special, which is kind of annoying. And then they combine for 3 turns. So when you compare what this character does to what he originally did, the main thing here is the fact that now he gives you a base attack boost. He gets rid of block slots now, and then he adds 4 turn removal of paralysis and special bind. So when you really boil it down, the character didn't change that much. They added a bit of utility, I think is the best component, but that's kind of it. So I'm kind of disappointed about that. The other crewmate ability, which isn't listed here, but when you have the character evolved and stuff, he does completely evade special bind and paralysis on himself. So that is a positive thing, so you can always use that special. But the thing is, he doesn't have fear resistance, so that kind of sucks too. So that could be an issue in the future, but just, it's a very mediocre super evolution. It's just as simple as that. It's just a mediocre super evo. We can have a look at the PvP stuff, because in PvP this character was pretty bad before. So now his special, 27 CT, does a 35% health cut to all enemies. That's not bad actually. Targets himself for 3 times healing. Target Striker Powerhouse teammates for 10-second removal of half stats. It's not bad, honestly. It's not terrible. I don't think that's really that bad. And then the Rumble ability, Striker Powerhouse, 6 attack, 6 guard, and when remaining HP is 60% or below, he gives himself level 5 defense. I wish it was 5 defense to Striker and Powerhouse, not just himself, but he does only just provide himself with healing. If he provided healing and defense to all Striker Powerhouse characters on your team, this character would actually be really strong. But the fact that it's only for himself, it's just whatever. He's just a whatever character, you know? What does he resist? He evades special bind, okay. And then 40% damage reduction from slash to cerebral. That's actually not too bad. Damage reduction from slash is really rare, so that's not awful, I guess. And of course, they don't have any. This is just the generic Grand Party abilities. So, look, this is a very underwhelming super evolution. I don't know what to say. Like, is it the worst super evolution of 2023? It might be. Just because of what they've done. Like, I'm not really a big fan of what they did with the dual Big Mom character a couple months back. But even looking at that, I feel like that Big Mom will still see more play than what this Whitebeard and Marco will. This character is just very mid. I don't know what to say, dude. Like, it's very disappointing, and it's annoying because, you know, they came out swinging with the dual unit Cat Viper Dogstorm. I always say this every single month, you know, we always compare these dual 6+s to Cat Dog because that unit is absurdly powerful. They made that character like one of the best units in the game with their Super Evo. And then after every single month, they're bringing us all these dual evolutions, and we're hoping that they reach that level again, but they've rarely done it. I think Luffy Ace is somewhat close when you get him to level Limit Break 5. this is very, very far off the mark. So I'm pretty disappointed about this one, but let me know your thoughts and opinions about Marco and Whitebeard with their new Super Evolution coming to One Piece Treasure Cruise in the upcoming Kazuna Clash. So hopefully you enjoyed this one, and if you guys did enjoy it, make sure to go ahead and leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. On that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.